Phoenix has now won 10 of their last 11 games, including 3 in a row. Stephen A., what do you think? Are the Suns legit title contenders?
Not to me, not yet. They have elite play at the point guard spot. They have a star in Devin Booker, who's emerging as a superstar. I love the development of DeAndre Ayton. And I love Monty Williams and his coaching staff. I know all of those guys. The Willie Greens of the world, the Randy Ayers of the world, the Monty Williams. I love those guys, and I'm very, very proud of the job that they're doing. I just get this feeling like they're just a piece away. Just a piece away. When it's during the regular season, understand, we play a game and then we go on our merry way. We'll see you down the road. During the postseason, it's a best 4 of 7. You get to plan and lock in and focus on one particular opponent over the stretch of a 7-game series. And I think in this instance, it takes a little bit more when you consider the teams that they're going to have to go against, the Utahs, the Clippers, the Lakers, et cetera, et cetera. I just view it and I look at the level of experience that those teams have. And I say, you know something? I don't know. I can see, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like they'll get blown out, they're going to disappear in the first round or anything like that. But when I think title contention, I'm like, okay, is this team, what's the odds that this team is coming out of the West? If I can pick 3 teams ahead of you, then I don't view you as that contender. I view you as a legitimate team, a postseason team. But I just think a piece away. Some of the young guys, Ayton's young, Booker's young, hasn't been in the playoffs yet. Mikal Bridges, young, talented, but young. I know Jay Crowder's a big pickup for them. CP3 told me he's been raving about him all year long. But I still believe they're just a piece away.
You're probably right. But are they legit title contenders? You're right about young guys, playoffs, not experienced. Those are fair points. But they are legitimate title contenders right now because you're overlooking something important. I think you and I both agree. If everyone's at full strength, it's Lakers and Nets. Yeah, let's face it. I don't think this Suns team can beat the Nets if the Nets are fully loaded. I take the Lakers confidently to beat this Suns team if the Lakers are fully loaded. We don't know that. Stephen A., you've been on the record questioning AD's health. Let's just start with the Western Conference, right? Will he come back? If AD comes back at less than 85% of himself, 80% of himself, this Suns team could easily beat the Lakers. And then look around. Look around the West. Jamal Murray out. Denver going to beat this Suns team without Jamal Murray? The answer is no. Let me help everyone out there. No, not without Jamal Murray. So so Lakers, if AD's not right, Jamal Murray's Clippers, Jazz, right? That's what we're down to now. When we're saying who's really going to beat them. Because I think they'd be favored against Portland or Dallas. Who's going to beat this Suns team? Clippers, Jazz. Could they beat the Clippers or the Jazz? Oh, hell yeah. First of all, Chris Paul is thirstier for a title than no one's thirstier than him. No one's hungrier for him than that championship. You could be as hungry, but not hungrier. He's one of the all-time greats. He's never had it. And let's not forget, he had one great wing backcourt player with him in James Harden in Houston. They got to a 7th game against a loaded Warriors team, and they didn't win it, maybe because Chris Paul didn't play in it. Now he has Devin Booker. Whatever you want to say, Stephen A., they're second overall in the Western Conference to the Jazz. Let's count in the end of last season. They went 8-0 in the bubble. You count in those wins since that time. They're the best team in the league in terms of their regular season record. Now, you talk about postseason. Does Chris Paul make a difference there? I believe so. Devin Booker's a miraculous player. You look at Mikal Bridges and where he's playing now, he's not an average player. He's an above-average starting wing, right? 3-and-D wing. But obviously, DeAndre Ayton has benefited from Chris Paul. And so the only position where you would say out of the starting 5, well, do they really have a great or really an above-average player by those standards? Maybe not, but they got 3-4 guys who can all play. Cam Johnson and Saric and obviously Jay Crowder. And they got a lot. They're deep. No, this team has been on fire since the bubble. They haven't been put out yet, and if anything, I think they're more able now to deal with the postseason with the addition of Chris Paul going forward. Given the injuries in the Western Conference, I think they could easily get out of the conference. And then you look at the East. If the Nets aren't at 100%, I'm not saying for sure they can't beat any of those Eastern Conference teams. They're live to win the whole thing.
Listen, It's been a long time since the Phoenix Suns have been relevant. It really, really has. And when I look at them, you know what? The arrival of Chris Paul and Jay Crowder doesn't exactly get you over the hump. It gets you into the postseason. It makes us look at them with a level of respect that we should have. The Phoenix Suns have not been to the playoffs in a decade. That means Devin Booker has never been to the playoffs. It means Mikal Bridges has never been to the playoffs. It means DeAndre Ayton has never been to the playoffs. I'm just looking at them and I'm saying I'm very proud of what I'm seeing. And they're an exciting team to watch. They got a lot of guts. They got a lot of talent. They got leadership at the point guard spot and in the coaching ranks, no doubt about it. I'm just looking at them, and when I think about the elite teams in the Western Conference, even though their record would indicate they are elite, those are regular season games. The playoffs are a different
Stephen
monster.
A., real quick.
And I'm just of the mindset that no, they're a piece away.
Real quick question. You know, like maybe DeAndre Ayton has to develop a little bit more, whatever that is. What's your guess about Devin Booker in the playoffs? Real quick. What's your guess? How's Devin Booker going to play in the playoffs?
I think he's going to play well, but I'd also think that I think about the playoffs differently than you do. You know, you're the guy that has a guy ranked number 1 in the world, and 4 days later he's number 5. You're the guy that doesn't care about the regular season until you want to act like you care about the regular season. I pay attention to these things, and I think that when pressure moments arrive, youth will show up and show out. I also think officiating, you're not going to get the calls that you normally get during the regular season and stuff like that. I think there's a plethora of things that are going to work against a relatively young squad come postseason time, and I think the Phoenix Suns are going to be a byproduct of that. That's just how I view it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.